everyone, so I'm here today to film a really exciting video. So the past week was the Sydney Writers' Festival, which actually coincided with the Sephora sale here in Australia, so I had a really spendy week last week, but I just wanted to show you some of the books that I picked up during the festival. The Sydney Writers' Festival is one of my favourite parts of the entire year because I get to go and meet some of the writers that I've been reading throughout the year that I'm really excited to speak to and meet and to hear from, and I also get to see a lot of writers that I've never heard of and pick up their work and talk to them as well. It's just a really nice, very positive experience pretty much across the board. Every single year I tell myself I'm not going to purchase that many books because I can purchase them at any time. I don't have to get them there, and I mean a signature doesn't mean that much. It's just kind of a nice chance to chat with the author. So every year I tell myself I'm not going to buy that many books, and every single year I purchase a lot of books. This year it was no exception. I purchased 10 books and I want to show them all to you. So I'll just jump straight into it. The first book I have actually already started reading. It is I Love Dick by Kraus. Kraus is kind of a prolific writer as far as I understand. She's been writing since the 90s and she writes a lot of very feminist, very progressive type books. I saw a lot of people tweeting about this, I think because Kraus was at the festival this year, but I didn't really know her, so I didn't go to any of her events. And I saw this book for sale, and it says, "This is the most important book about men and women written in the last century." It's a quote from The Guardian on the front. And then on the back it says, "Blurring the lines of fiction, essay, and memoir, I Love Dick is widely considered to be the most important feminist novel of the past 2 decades." So all of these facts combined, and I decided to finally purchase this book. I'm about this far into it, and it is really weird. It kind of reminds me of the writing of Miranda July, but it's not quite as absurd as Miranda July. It's just more really bizarre, the choices that these characters are making. So far it's also really epistolary, so a lot of it's written in actual letter form, and I'm finding that really interesting. I think it was published originally in 1997, and it has since been republished with this really nice cover, and I'm really enjoying it, so hopefully it'll be in a wrap-up soon. Next, this is a book I purchased from a writer that I heard speak at a panel who I'd never heard of before and wasn't particularly interested in until I heard her speak and read from her book. This is Portable Curiosities by Julie Ko. She explained in her talk that she was a law student, and once she graduated from law school she decided she was going to become a short story writer instead. So these are her stories. They're all set in Sydney as far as I know, and they all blur the lines between magical realism and absurdism and reality. So a lot of really odd things and unbelievable things happen to these characters, and I'm really excited to see what it's like because I know a lot of Sydney stories are a little bit cliche in my opinion, so it's going to be really fun to see something a bit more magical. She was also one of the authors that I had the chance of getting a signature from, and because she is a Chinese Australian, she had her little stamp with her as well. I thought that added a really nice touch to the signature. She's really lovely to talk to, and I'm really excited to try her stories out. Then a true classic, this is Carol Ann Duffy's Standing Female Nude. This is a collection of poetry by Carol Ann Duffy, who you may know as the first female poet laureate of England ever. She's also the first Scottish woman to be the poet laureate as well. She's a pretty excellent female poet, and she has some really excellent feminist literature out there that I haven't read a lot of, but when I saw her read some of her work at a performance, I decided I had to pick up one of her books. This, I think, is her initial collection, the first one she ever published, and I picked it up mostly because I really loved this cover, all these lovely naked ladies. I just thought it was a really nice cover and decided to pick it up. Next, this is Tomboy Survival Guide by Ivan Coyote. I'd never heard of Ivan Coyote before the festival, but every time I went up to a table that was selling books, all of their work was on display, and they have a pretty extensive collection of published work, and I was like, who is this person who's publishing so many books? I then saw them read at a poetry performance situation, and they were awesome. I really liked their work, and I was really interested to see what else they were doing. So this, I think, is their most recent publication. It's sort of a memoir kind of book about being a tomboy and growing up as a tomboy in the Midwest, in the Yukon, in America. From what I understand, also their work deals a lot with gender and different boundaries like that as well. And most of their work also includes some sort of music and performance and film. They use a lot of integration of these different mediums, but of course in a published work, it's just a published work. But what I really liked was flipping through it, there are some really excellent diagrams, which I think adds a really nice touch to the book. This is also a kind of a memoir slash poetry collection sort of thing. This is Too Afraid to Cry by Cobby Eckermann. She is a really prolific and very excellent Indigenous Australian poet who I would highly recommend you check out. She just recently kind of flew to international fame when she won a poetry award delivered by Yale University. Anonymously, she won $215,000 and is now quite prominent around internationally. People are interviewing her a whole lot. It's really exciting to see someone from our community branching out into the international sphere. This is her memoir slash poetry collection. I'm really excited to see where she's come from. I've seen her talk a few times and I think she's a really fascinating woman, so I'd love to see a little bit more in depth. I was also able to get her to sign this copy, and I think she has a really excellent signature. So it says Allie, and then what looks like a kind of flower leaf situation. I think it's really nice. She signed It's All About the Healing on the bottom, which I think is really important. So very excited for this one as well. Next, this is Hera Lindsay Bird by Hera Lindsay Bird. It's a collection of poems by Hera Lindsay Bird, who is a young New Zealand poet from just across the water. I'd never heard of her before the festival, but I heard her being shipped around to quite a few different events, and I was interested to hear there was another young female poet on the rounds, so I decided to pick up her newest collection. I also saw her read at the performance that Ivan Coyote and Duffy were at, and she read a poem called Monica, which I thought was pretty interesting, the way she integrated her personal life with some pretty classic pop culture references. So I'm excited to give this one a read as well. As you can tell, I'm excited for all the books that I purchased. Next, this one has nothing to do with the festival at all. I purchased it because I've seen a lot of people on YouTube talking about it, and I saw it for sale, so I picked it up. This is Doing It, Women Tell the Truth About Great Sex, and it's a collection of essays written by a ton of different ladies about their experiences with sex and their thoughts generally on the topic. It's edited by Pickering, and it's got some really excellent women in it, like Emily McGuire and Michelle Law and Amy Middleton and all these different writers. So I'm really excited to give this one a try. It's got nothing to do with the festival, but I was glad to pick it up. Then we have The Mothers by Brit, Bennett. This one is one of the most hyped books that I've picked up at the festival. Lots of people have been talking about it on YouTube for the past few months, and I've wanted to purchase it for a really long time, and I finally decided I would get it at the festival after I saw her talk on a panel, and I was able to get her signature as well. We had a really lovely chat with her, which was really nice. She talked a lot about her experience being a young woman writing on the internet and writing for publication, and just getting your voice out there and getting yourself confident enough to say that you matter and are worth publishing. I found that really inspiring and just really nice to hear. I know that you know it within yourself to be true, but to hear someone who has reached the level of success that she has to say that she was there once as well and that you can do it was just really lovely. I really liked meeting her. Next, also another book that has nothing to do with the festival. This is Hot Little Hands by Abigail Ulman. This is a collection of short stories about basically what it's like being a teenage girl. This I also heard about on YouTube before I saw it in real life, and I've wanted to purchase it, but again kept putting it off. But I finally decided to get it when I saw it at sale. I'm just really excited to read a little bit about someone's experience of being a young woman, because I think it's stories that don't get shared all that often, and I'm excited to see how deep and gritty this book gets. And this last one is kind of a weird one. This is Bodies of Water, Posthuman Feminist Phenomenology by Astrida Neimanis. She is an environmental cultures lecturer and professor at the University of Sydney, and I just stumbled across her book sitting on one of the for sale tables, and the subtitle of Posthuman Feminist Phenomenology really caught my eye because this is pretty much exactly my kind of area of interest. I'm currently writing my thesis on feminist phenomenology, and I really was interested to see that someone else was writing about that as well. So from what I can tell, this is a collection of essays exploring the ways that humans interact with and react to and relate to bodies of water. I'm really interested to see what she has to say about this. I think it will lean a little bit more towards the environment and environmental concerns, more so than perhaps feminist concerns, but I'm really interested to see the way she interlinks these things and connects them. So I'm really excited to read this, though I acknowledge it's probably not the most interesting of all the books that I picked up. So there you go, those are all the books that I purchased at the Sydney Writers' Festival this year and all the writers that I got to meet and have sign my book. If you were at the festival, please let me know who you went and saw and which books you picked up. Otherwise, I'd really love to know if you've read any of these books or if you have any recommendations. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye!